Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Gallagher Shots YouTube channel. And this evening, it is myself and Deka. Evening, Deka.
Evening, mate.
Yeah, so we're here with a little, good, mate. We're here with a little midweek special. So there's been some big news in Newcastle this week, hasn't there, Deka?
He's signed, you know. Get in.
So yes, the news broke that the Saint, Allan Saint-Maximin, has gone and signed a new and improved contract at Newcastle. So renewed his contract. He's here for 6 years. Again, moving him up into the top brackets of earners at the club, which, let's face it, it can only be a good thing, right?
Oh, well, I mean, to think that you've signed the best player that's ever played football for a further 6 years? I mean, what more do you need? No, it's really good news. It's a nice positive message. Which, I mean, I haven't actually spoken to you much about it. Were you worried when you started seeing these quotes of him saying, "Well, we'll see how it goes, and I might look elsewhere"? Were you worried about any of that?
Not so much. I guess it shows you his intention of wanting to kind of progress as a player, doesn't it? And let's face it, when you've had kind of the season and a little bit that he's had, and came over in the Premier League and shown that you can do it, eight times out of 10, let's say, it's going to get you noticed, not just here, but out in the world stage. I mean, he's been linked with Paris Saint-Germain over the summer and stuff like that, and lots of rumours about some big clubs being interested in him, and some not so big clubs interested in him in the last few weeks. So it's just good to get it done. If anything, it just means that, if he does come to leave us down the line, that you'd hope that there's a big kind of clause in there to get a good transfer fee for him or something like that. But I think it makes him less likely to want to leave to chase big money. You can't blame him if he wants to leave to go to for Champions League or something like that, because that's what top players want to go and do, and he's not going to get that here anytime soon.
No, I think if we're being honest, if you look at every player that we've got, some people might say Dubravka, and I might get on board with that one, but he's probably the only player that you would say could be next level, probably could get Champions League football maybe tomorrow, could walk into the team and probably deserve to play Champions League football. So first of all, it's amazing that we've got him. Amazing that we've signed him. I love the comments that he said regarding the fans in terms of how we've made him feel. And he said that I've been appreciated at every club I've been at, but here seems really special. So that's great. That's really, really good.
Yeah.
And obviously in terms of top bracket, he has to be top bracket money, right? He's the best player we've got. So I mean,
so
if you're talking,
he's getting brought in line with the likes of Shelvey and obviously Wilson and Fraser, who have came in on big deals in the summer, and probably Lascelles, I think, is one of the top paid ones as well. So he's moving into that top level of pay bracket at the club, which he wasn't on a bad wage. I think the money that was talked about previously was on 45k a week, which it's a decent amount to be getting paid. But he's obviously getting maybe 20-30 grand, if not more than that, a week on top. So good deal if you can get it.
Yeah. I think obviously to us, 45 grand a week's amazing. Of course it is. It's ridiculous money. But when I was here and that Matty Longstaff was asking for 30s of the world, let's just be realistic here.
Yeah.
If Matty's wanting 30 and he's only on 45, Saint should be on 500 grand a week if he's asking for 30. I'm just taking the piss there, but and he deserves it. Absolutely deserves it. He's the most exciting player we've got. He's honestly one of the reasons why I watch the games. If I'm honest, it's for him. And I think you touched on it actually, and it was a good point. You said that eight times out of 10. And I think, we have seen a few games where people have maybe questioned his attitude. I think the most recent game might have been Brighton at home. There was a few rumblings of, well, does he really fancy it if it's not going his way, etc. Hey, all right, we might have games like that, but we all know that more times than enough we're going to get a great performance and an exciting performance, which is important.
Yeah, and that's what we want. And he made mention of a player that was in the same ilk, and kind of somebody that he wants to follow in the footsteps of, when he was talking about David Ginola, and obviously the relationship and success that he had here. And if you can go on to do, some of the things that he did, even though Ginola wasn't here for a very long time, people that saw him play, it's not somebody that you can forget, and he's definitely got that in him, the ability wise to go on and achieve that level and possibly higher.
I think higher. I love Ginola. Don't get us wrong. I do, right. I'm just thinking. I've said this to you all a few times, and I know we've had a few run-ins in the past. I mean, once I stormed off the podcast when we had a bit of a laugh about him, I remember. In terms of sheer ability, and I mean, and being able to get the ball and just rinse people. There's not many players in the world, certainly in this league, that can do that. Maybe Traore gets mentioned a lot, Sterling, perhaps Zaha. I honestly think he's better than all of them. I do, honestly. In terms of just being able to single-handedly get the ball and rip the piss out of you, and also create things. I keep saying ripping you. It's not FIFA Street, he can do that. But what we're seeing at the minute now as well is there's an end product, right? There's final balls, there's final passes, there's his own goals. And the guy's a gem in our team, because we're not very good, to be fair. And having him there, we're definitely a better team with him in. So yeah, it's great
absolutely.
news.
I think the good skill that he's got is his dribbling ability, isn't it? I mean, again, when you think that Ginola, he was decent at dribbling, but he was more of a one of sticking the ball in front of him and kind of running onto it. Whereas when Saint's got the ball, it's like glued to his foot. And the way he comes out of some, little where he's got 2 or 3 players around him and he comes out with it's a great asset to have especially in this league. So yeah, big news.
I mean, we've been excited. We've been excited by him from the minute we first saw him. But I remember the game that there's 2 games that stick out in my mind when I very first seen him early on. Chelsea away, I remember, was insane. He just was taking the piss, literally. We all remember West Ham away, where Zabaleta retired because of that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So and he's continued to get better. My worry was okay, we've seen these flashes of brilliance, but you can't keep doing that every week. And he didn't have much of an end product then, but I still loved him. He was still the best I had seen. And now he's probably progressed even further, because he is starting to find the final balls and the passes and stuff like that. I tell you again, a clip I seen the other day on Twitter. Someone you might have seen it. Someone put a video clip together of him, maybe 2 or 3 minutes of his best highlights for us. It was the game we went to West Brom in the Cup, where he skins a few players, but he plays that ball through for Almiron, who then scores.
Fantastic.
That's just that's what he has in his locker. Yeah, it really was. And as I say, just brilliant news. Let's hope he sees all of the 6 years out here, because if he does, that means we're doing something right. But it's a good day.
It would be nice. I think when he kind of broke the statement around staying, there was perhaps some cryptic messages that were included in it. So there's been a lot being looked into that. He was talking a lot about the Newcastle project and why it's an incredible opportunity and that kind of thing, and wanting to be a part of it. So some people have maybe tied into that. Is he talking about maybe the takeover side of things? I'm not so sure. I think is he just talking about the project of wanting to take the club forward, maybe push into the top 10 and break forward that way? But what were your thoughts on that?
Well, I didn't see any bread in the picture, so I have to be honest, I don't think that.
He did send out a cryptic
honest,
tweet, though, didn't he? Before it was all announced.
Yeah, he did.
Sent out a little timer, didn't he? So
yeah, egg timer. Yeah, because then some people were thinking he was off. If I can understand, of course, why people would think that. Don't get us wrong, but this is my honest opinion. I think that's all done and dusted. And I think I've said this to you before. That's just my opinion. I think it's done and dusted. Having said that, actually, I see Michael Tropper tweet about 10 minutes ago saying that the Saudis have gone. So that probably means it'll happen on Saturday. So, but yeah, I'm being honest. I think that's dead and buried. And you're right in what you say. Maybe he's saying that, the project that he can maybe take the club forward to a degree. Of course, we're never going to be able to be up there. But people seem to be wanting to read things like that, aren't they? They see little clips, they see bread on the internet, and they think this is it. And why not? Why not have a dream and a fantasy that's going to happen? Just my opinion. I don't think it will.
That's it. Just clinging on to that hope that it can happen, isn't it? And just taking any little bit of snippet of information. But as you mentioned, he did pay homage to all of the fans and the connection that he's got with the fans, and how he really feels loved to be here, and how that's played a kind of a big part in him and wanting to stay and to sign the new contract and to do great things for the club and for us as fans. But he also paid compliments to two other people in there. So firstly, Steve Nixon. So he spoke about the relationship that he had with Steve Nixon, and the discussions that he has about with football and life and everything like that. So it's nice that he's kind of got that relationship there with ultimately the man that kind of has sold the club to him to get him to come here.
It's a fantastic point, mate. Great point. I don't know if everyone's maybe picked up on that or not, but it's a great point. That because I do think that if I'm going to be really honest here, and I'll probably get slagged for this, but I think sometimes there's an opinion that everyone at the club's an arsehole, or everyone's shit at the job. Does that make sense? So Charney's incompetent and Ashley's a wanker. So that means everyone that's behind the scenes is a wanker, or everyone that's a coach is a wanker, because people didn't like Bruce either. Steve Agnew hasn't got a clue. But you've mentioned it that he's got a good relationship with Steve Nixon. Now, a lot of people prior to this might think he doesn't day out. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But it obviously goes to show that maybe Saint's obviously happy with that. Maybe Wilson has been attracted by that, by them conversations and stuff. So plaudits to all of them. Anyone that's had an opportunity, including fans, that have had an input to him signing for another 6 years, well done. Whoever that is, if it's Bruce, if it's Steve Nixon, whoever it might be. And it's a good point you've made there, though.
Yeah, no, it is. He made that reference of that it was basically Nixon that kind of convinced them to come and talked about the project and what he could go on to achieve, and probably sold him that little bit of a dream of that, come play in the Premier League, see what it's like. And he knows that what we are like as fans, that if you can come in as a player and excite us and get us on our feet, well, when we can actually go and get on with feet when we're watching football, rather than maybe stand up from our settee, it really does make you stand out as a hero at Newcastle and can really push you on. But the other person that he did praise was of course, as you just mentioned there, Mr. Bruce, the gaffer. So again, he talked about the relationship that those two have got, and that how he talks to him makes him feel better and feel special, and kind of, which Kim's maybe is a little bit of a surprise to me, and probably more is that he does small things with him to kind of make a big difference around his performances and stuff like that, because people talk about him as not being a particularly good coach. There's no doubt from the comments that he's a very, very good man manager, from the comments that Saints made and other players have made. But it's just nice to hear a bit of recognition from inside the club, isn't it?
Totally right. Because again, as a point I made just before there, I mean, everyone has a negative spin on everyone that's at the club. Really, everyone thinks Bruce is shit at his job, and I've said this for a while about Bruce. We've all agreed that long term it's not the right man and all the rest of it. But I think the one thing we've all agreed with is that he probably does have a very good relationship with his players. Perhaps sometimes that might get in the way of tactical decisions. Like we've talked about the 4-4-2, and he wouldn't change the team because he thought they deserved another chance. That's very nice and very old school way of managing, but I do believe that the likes of Saint and a lot of other players probably do enjoy working with them. They probably do. Is that enough though to get you to the next level? That's the issue, and it probably isn't. But listen, we'll get kicked in the teeth, we'll get kicked in the balls a lot following this club. So let's just for once be happy that everyone's played a part in a great outcome of something, which is really promising and really good.
Yeah, it is. No, it's definitely a good news story this week to give her a bit of a boost ahead of a trip to Manchester United at the weekend. So we've got that to look forward to. So it's a big boost him going into that, against the team that aren't going particularly well at the moment. Bruce was, in his comments about the signing of Saint as well. I think it's fair to say that he was delighted by the signing, because he said the word delighted about 27 times in one paragraph of quotes that he gave about the situation. But I think he sums up, perfectly how we all feel as fans, as delighted for him to sign. But yeah, it's a nice boost to go into the Man United game at the weekend, where, let's face it, if we can do what we've done against them in the past. Get Saint on a good day. Their last game, they were absolutely diabolical at the back. So if Saint can have a good run at them, we could be onto something tasty.
I know we've got Chris and Bestie's going to do a preview, obviously later on in the week or maybe tomorrow or whatever. But I was going to say that I'm incredibly confident for the weekend, which might sound ridiculous to say because I think I'm normally the most negative in terms of we're playing West Brom on Saturday and I'll be like, oh, might get beat there. But honestly, I'm very hopeful for the weekend, and this is good. This is a good news story for her as well. And as you say, the last time they were out, they looked shambles. They looked an absolute shambles, so disorganised. So yeah, I'm actually quite hopeful for the weekend. And Fraser scored as well. I noticed for Scotland.
Yeah, he played very, very well. Very well.
Yep. So, and I've said this before they even signed, that we have a quartet up front, if you like, in a way that really excites us. And in fairness, Almiron hasn't been part of the four I'm thinking of in my head when I say that. Joe Linton's been in there and doing well, I think, as well. And I really think if we play the four that I'd like to play, I think we could terrorise them. And honestly, and I know it might sound really stupid to say, but them are nothing special at the back. And I feel, honestly, that we could do some real damage to some of their players. So,
yeah, you'd hope with obviously the news in this week that it's going to give not only Saint-Maximin a lift, it's going to give everybody around them that we're securing a player of that calibre on an improved contract and trying to keep them around and take them forward. But it's going to be an interesting game because they're going to be without Fernandes, who's having to isolate from COVID. All because of Ronaldo, apparently, which is nice because I think he's the best player that they've got and really makes them tick.
Yep.
Martial's going to be out as well, and with a bit of luck, Harry Maguire will be in.
Well, yeah, you're right there. I was going to say that. I didn't know about Martial, actually. I didn't know that. So that's a big miss, that. Will Cavani play?
Cavani, no, he's not going to play either because he's in isolation as well. So just because of him coming back into the country. Cavani's out, Martial's out, Fernandes is out.
We're going to beat them 5-0 here. It's going to be another 5-0. I'm thinking though, can Lascelles chip like Albert did? Probably not.
Maybe Feddy could. Feddy's got a little chip in him, hasn't he? Yeah. So, but no, I think
honestly, I was confident before, and since you've said that, I'm fucking hell. We've won.
That'd be nice, but it's a strange feeling to think that we can go into a game like this with a bit of confidence, and try and take and have a game with them, because I'd hate for us to just to sit back and invite them on, because that's when we look terrible.
Yeah, totally agree. I think bearing in mind a lot of our players, not all of them, but some of them have had a week off, if you like, because obviously they've Shelby's, your Hayden's, they haven't, Wilson, for example. Whereas Man United, they've had a few players in international duty as well. So let's just hope that we can set up in a positive manner, as you've mentioned there. Rather than, we're at home, so obviously that hopefully will. I know there's no fans there, but I'm hoping that we'll have a better mentality rather than, let's just sit back and soak up the pressure. Because I don't think this Man United team, the one thing I definitely think that we do is we show too much respect to our position sometimes. And I really hope we don't do that on Saturday. I really hope that we, get at them, because I don't think they'll be able to live with some of certainly some of the quicker players that we'll have in the team.
Yeah, that's what we need to be looking. Get on the front foot, close them down. It's like, as we've spoken about time before, it's that's when we look at our best rather than kind of waiting to hit them on the counter attack. Man United fans are also feeling a little bit under pressure for the game as well. They're a bit worried about the Longstaff brothers, because they always seem to turn up and play really well against them.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because I only just quickly went on Twitter actually a few minutes ago, and I seen Matty Longstaff obviously has been in training, and I clicked on, some guy put a post on, and it was every Man United fan going, God, he's back on Saturday, and typical, why is it always us? And I'm thinking, fuck me, don't be worried about Matty, lads. It's your Frasers, your Wilson, your Saints. That's who you've got to be worried about. But no, again, it's nice to see Matty back in there as well, training. It's another option for Bruce to have. And I don't think he'll throw him in at the deep end, but he threw him in the deep end the last time, right? Because we got beat off Leicester 5-1, I believe it was, wasn't it? When we got really, really hammered. It was the next game where he decided to play both of them in centre midfield, which was a huge gamble, I thought.
Massive.
And it paid off. So
it was just over a year ago as well, which was obviously when we did the reverse Great North run with trolleyfuls of food for the food bank. So
that's right. That's right.
It could be written in the stars. Just over a year later, them two coming back in.
It was a great day, that wasn't it? That was a great day, wasn't it? That was a great day.
So
we
all
don't
round.
have many, but that was.
So, but no, very, very good news story for the club this week with the signing of with Allan. I love that little clip of him as well, where he does his interview and he goes, "Hi, it's me, Allan." It's just
Allan,
it's brilliant. I love it.
It is.
So,
it is.
But
I loved his tweet with the with the what's it called, man?
Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, Wolf of Wall Street. That was funny, wasn't it? That was good. He's very, very good on Twitter.
He's brilliant.
I
was hoping he was.
Honestly, nearly every club would want him, like fans wise, every club would be like, fuck me, we should sign Saint. What's he doing there? I reckon that's what everyone says. What's he doing there?
Well, certainly Everton and West Ham fans have been saying that, haven't they? So, but it's great. I think that's the thing. He just gets it, doesn't he? He interacts with the fans on social media. He interacts. He's always getting his pictures taken when he's out and about. He does loads of stuff for the food bank, as we've just mentioned. He's always down there doing stuff with them. He just gets it, doesn't he? And I think that's what kind of is really, really endears him to us as fans, is the stuff that he does both on and off the pitch.
Well, that's you're right what you say. It's almost like a total package that you've got a player who. I mean, I know you didn't like him, but I will touch on Ben Arfa for a second. So Ben Arfa excited a lot of fans because of his ability to go past players. That's why everyone loved him. And he mentioned a few things in interviews where he was like, he said something, didn't he? Like, he had the fans shout, go, and it makes me go faster or whatever. And everyone fell in love with him because of that interview as well. Whereas Saint is like just the next level when it comes to like getting it, as you say, getting it. He's got great banter. He seems a really funny guy. And he's mentioning when he talks about us, as you say, he mentioned David Ginola. So like already fans will be thinking, oh, he knows Ginola was here and he knows Ginola was good. And do you know what I mean? Like he's just ticking every box, right? And and as you say, though, the most important thing is on the pitch. On the pitch, he's the difference maker. So.
That's it. And long may it continue. So signing a new contract, he's going to be here till, let's hope, 2025 at least, if we don't get him to sign another 6-year contract in the next couple of years when we're pushing for the top of the league and playing in the Champions League every season, because that's definitely where we're going. I can see it now.
Oh, but on Bruce as well, be great.
You never know, do you? You never know. But prediction for the weekend then?
Well, I think 5-0 was a bit optimistic, so I think I'll change that. Yeah, maybe. Aye. 3-1 Newcastle.
3-1. Yeah, be happy with that.
3-1.
Yeah, I fancy her as well for some reason. I don't know if it's just the news of who they're going to be missing, the performances that they've had and just the buzz that we've got from kind of for saying signing. But I fancy Wood. Maybe it's 2-0. I'll go 2-0 win. So both taking one for the win. But Chris and Bestie will be along with a pre-match preview, and we'll have Jess and Emil along with guests to do extra time later on this week. I don't know if Andy's managed to sort an away say as well, if I remember right. So loads of videos coming in the next couple of days before the game at the weekend. So, but just a nice feeling, isn't it? Having a bit of positivity.
Well, I don't think we've spoken this sort of nicely for 10 or 15 minutes, whatever it's been, ever. Like normally there's always some negative hide in there, isn't there? And as you say, it's I was really looking forward to do this video because of this, because a lot of the times when we get together on an ad hoc one, it's normally, oh shit, he's injured, he's been sold, takeover's off. You know what I mean? It tends to be a negative. So as you mentioned from the start, this is a positive moment for us as a fan base for once. And it gives we're going in against Man United, and I appreciate. I know a lot of people say it's not the Man United that it used to be, but we're going into the weekend. I'm very confident the weekend, which is a good place to be.
That's it, exactly. So lots to look forward to at the weekend, and also there'll be some secret special announcements. So keep an eye on Twitter for some news coming up about some extra stuff that's happening over the weekend. But for now, good night from me, and Deka, good night from you.
All the best, man. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, everyone.